Hey guys, my name is Matt Rivers. I am a correspondent for CNN International. And I was supposed to talk to you live tonight, but unfortunately I can't do that because I am in Ukraine right now. This is coming to you live from my hotel room in Ukraine. I've been covering the conflict for a few weeks now, and I'll be here for a few more weeks. But I thought that maybe I would talk a little bit about my career, my time at Citrus, and give you entirely unsolicited advice that you don't have to take. So starting with me, I graduated in 2010. I didn't get a job at first. Moved back into my parents' basement, worked landscaping for 6 months, thinking I made a horrific life choice. But thankfully, a very kind news director looked past my crappy demo reel and saw some potential, gave me a job in El Paso. Then after El Paso, went to San Antonio, worked at a local news station there, then went to Philly, then got picked up by CNN, moved to China for 4 years, based out of Beijing. And now I've spent the last 2.5 years or so based out of Mexico City, Mexico, covering Latin America and the Caribbean, mainly, except for when there's a land war in Europe, which does change the workflow a little bit at CNN. And so I've been here on the road for about a month now, and we'll probably spend another few weeks, maybe another month out here as the news dictates. But before all that, I was a college student just like you guys. I worked, mainly started at Citrus my sophomore year, was there a lot, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, doing the news side, and fighting with the sports side for studio space. I don't know if you guys still do that. And I have a picture I can show you, I think, here of me at the 2010 CitrusTV Banquet with some friends of mine who I'm still friends with today. I'm wearing a terrible sweater vest that you can see there. Friend of mine, Ryan Bolton, who I think is with you guys tonight, was also at that banquet, and he gave me, or he should have given me, better sartorial advice. He should have told me to wear something else, but he didn't. So thank you, Ryan. But look, my time at Citrus, what I remember about it is just the camaraderie and the friendship. I mean, I learned a lot of hands-on stuff about journalism that I think was crucial. Got me a lot of reps and practice that I didn't get, in the couple classes a week that you took at Newhouse. So Citrus was huge in that. But I think more than anything else, I just remember that sense of camaraderie. It was my first newsroom. And a newsroom is a special place. And I know that to be a fact because I've worked in a lot of them now. And I just remember feeling that camaraderie like in 2008 on the night that Barack Obama got elected. You just got this sense that you were watching history, but you were doing it with colleagues and friends who also understood the gravity of that moment. And having done multiple experiences like that since then, that was the first time I got a taste of that. And it hooked me. And I think that's what I remember most about Citrus is just that camaraderie, that sense of being in an industry that I wanted to be in, but that was also just niche. I remember some of my other friends at Syracuse who weren't in Citrus would be like, why are you spending so much time at that TV station? And it's like, if you know kind of thing. And yeah, I've been hooked on it ever since. Fun fact, also the first time I ever used a fake ID was the night that Obama got elected on Marshall Street. So yeah, probably shouldn't admit that, but trivia fact. Anyway, so in terms of the unsolicited advice that I had to give you, I would start with the people in this room with you right now. This is the beginnings of your professional network. Maybe you've interned and you've made networks elsewhere, and that's great, but these are your colleagues. These are the people who are on the come up just like you are, and who are going to be hustling in their first job just like you will be. Use this network. It's such a small industry. Whether you're in sports, production, news, doesn't matter. It's such a small industry. Build each other up. Pull up your friend. You get to that next rung on the ladder, pull your friend up behind you. I would use this network because it really, I can't tell you how much that can help professionally. So use it. I would say unsolicited piece of advice number 2, you can do good work no matter where you are. You guys are probably just about to graduate and so, well, those of you who are just about to graduate, you probably got a job in some tiny little town doing tiny little news, and that's okay. This is where you're going to learn how to be journalists. You know, whether you're in Anchorage, Alaska, or El Paso or Boise, there is good work to be done. Do not be too big for that moment. It might not feel like a prestige job. You will do great work. Some of the stories I'm proudest of to this day, and I've spent 7 years now at CNN traveling the world doing news stories. Some of the stories I'm most proud of personally come from my local news days. That's got to tell you something, right? You can always do good work no matter where you are. And I would encourage you to do that, because don't forget that it's not just about you. It's about the community that you serve. I truly believe that we are a public good. And sometimes we get lost in that because we're on the grind, you know, we're starting our careers, we're trying to make sure that we advance our careers, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to remember that the person watching the news, listening to what you're saying, they don't give a shit about your career. They give a shit about what you're saying about their community. And I think that that's a responsibility that you need to take quite seriously, whether that's in New York, or whether that's in Boise. It doesn't matter. Do good work wherever you are. Also, work hard wherever you are. It sounds cliche, but most people, and especially in this job, they're not willing to put in the work. So bust your ass. If you want to advance, I'm a firm believer that in this industry, if you really truly work hard and you do good work, no matter for your community where you are, you will rise. I do believe that this is a meritocracy, that the best journalists will rise to the top. I do firmly believe that in most cases. Sure, there's exceptions to the rule. There's some people at the network level I'm not huge fans of, but I think generally speaking, the people that make it to the top do so for a reason. And finally, unsolicited advice, point number 4, I guess. Don't be an asshole. Honestly, be a good person. You know, there's a lot of people in the journalism world that can, you know, I think lose track of what it means to be like good, decent human beings. Build up your colleagues. You know, don't be too competitive. Don't tear down their work. You know, work with each other. Understand when people are doing good work and applaud them for it. Sure, be competitive. You know, you should want to beat your colleague at that next story. But if they beat you, build them up. Be kind. I firmly believe that you can make it to the top as a good human being. You know, Wolf Blitzer is like one of the most famous people, you know, in America. And yet I can tell you personally, he's one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet. You know, first time I met him, I sat in his office for like a half an hour and we just talked. He didn't have to give me that time, but he did, because he's a good human. And so that's what I would say. Be a good person. Be kind, be decent, work hard, do good work for whatever community that you're in, and use your network, and you're going to climb. This is what I would say. Again, it's unsolicited advice, so take it or leave it, but that's what I've got for you. And I would just close out by saying, like, you know, I'm talking just about the journalism side of things, the news side of things, but I would imagine the same thing applies in news and production. You guys are about to enter into a really cool industry, you know, and I think you should be excited about where you're going to go. Thank God you're not going to go be accountants or something. You know, you're going to do something that's interesting, and you're going to feel like you're in a job, I hope, that is personally fulfilling and satisfying. And in my case, it's taken me to places around the world that I never thought I would ever see or go do. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. And a lot of it started at CitrusTV, which feels like a long time ago now. But in some ways it doesn't. In some ways I was in your shoes really not that long ago. And so I hope you enjoy tonight. I hope you have a great evening. I hope if those of you who are of legal age, maybe you have a good time, or maybe you have a fake ID and you can also have a good time. And I'm excited for those of you who are about to graduate into an amazing industry, and for those of you who have got a few more years, enjoy college. It's a great time, and the real world's coming up soon, which is also a ton of fun if you do it right. So thank you for your time, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or want any more unsolicited advice. I'm happy to talk to anybody who wants to talk to me. Yeah, thanks so much for having me, and I hope you have a great banquet.